Right. Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our free online lesson. My name is Nabil Fikri bin Shahizan, and I am an application engineer from Acad Systems. So, welcome everybody. Good afternoon. So, today's topic, I would like to share with you about the P&ID, AutoCAD P&ID, which is the AutoCAD Plant, AutoCAD Plant 3D. But we're going to focus only on the piping and instrument diagram. Right, so this will be the agenda for today. So this will be the agenda for today. So we're going to take a look on the basic introduction on the P&ID inside of AutoCAD Plant 3D. So we're going to take a look on how to create the P&ID schematic drawing. So we start with creating a project, and we're going to take a look and start to placing our equipment over here and creating the schematic lines that connect it from equipment to another equipment, and we're going to place some bulk and fittings inside of this pipeline, and the syntax and some of the things. So this will be the things that we're going to take a look on. So let me just share you the AutoCAD. Right, so I believe you guys can see my AutoCAD. So let me just push this one. Right, so this will be the interface of AutoCAD Plant 3D 2023. So on the lowest version of AutoCAD Plant 3D, you should still be able to see this project manager. So this is what important that you're going to take a look on this Plant 3D. Now, the first thing that we're going to take a look on is to creating the project. So currently we have a few projects available from here. So to create a new project, so we can just drop down from here and click at the new project from here. And over here, we can specify the name of the project. So I'm just going to name this one as a FOL P&ID. And I'm just going to click next. And over here, we can specify the units for your drawing. So whether you want to work with the inch, that will be the imperial, or you want to work with millimeters, so that will be on matrix. So we can select millimeter. Or in case you have matrix, but it has mixed millimeter and inches, so you can choose matrix, inch, mixed matrix. So you will be work with two different units from there. But for this case, I'm gonna go with inches. That will be imperial. And over here, we can select the P&ID symbol that you that you want to use with. I'm just gonna go with a PIP. Next, this is just directory. You can change, or you can just leave it as a default. And if you work with servers, so you can just click multi-users, but for my case, I'm only using this for one PC. So that will be single user, and I'm just gonna go ahead and click finish. All right, so it's going to take some time to create that particular files and folder on that location. All right, so I have created my project. Now, so you can just drop down if your project is not active. You can just drop down and select your project that you want to activate. Currently, if I take a look on P&ID and click plus button, so actually I don't actually have any drawing either on Plant 3D or P&ID. But for this case, we only go to the P&ID. So to start with, I can right click and create new drawing. Now, if you work with the Plant 3D, don't create this new over here, because if you create the new, it will not be appear inside of the project. So you can see this drawing is not inside of the project. So make sure if you want to create new drawing, so make sure you go to this project, the P&ID drawing or Plant 3D, right? So right click, create new drawing. And over here, only then it's going to create this drawing with which have related with this project. So I'm just going to name this as a FOL 001. And I can click OK. And it will create me this drawing with this default templates for P&ID. But let's say I don't want these templates, so let me just close this one. I want to create a new one, so let me just create a new one. going to name this one as FOL002. So to change the template, you can see at this drawing template over here. Just click at this three dot and you can select the template that you want to use with. Right, so we have several other more templates for P&ID, but for this case, I'm going to only use with the basic one, Acad template, and this is the basic template that I want to work with. Now, once you already enter this drawing file, so make sure that if you want to work with P&ID, make sure that this is the interface that you have. So in home, we have this project, we have this P&ID, which include assign text, edit block, and so on. We have this schematic drawing line group, and we should be able, we should also have this tool palette over here, which is actually symbols for P&ID. Right. So if you, for example, if you open this one and it shows you as a Plant 3D instead of P&ID, just make sure to go into this G icon and select this PID instead of 3D mapping. Right. So 3D mapping is for 3D, so the symbol will be on 3D. Some of these have the different tab over here. So make sure you have this PID. And on the tool palette itself, you can see we have several other tabs that you can select. Right. So this tab includes some of these symbols, and this symbol is actually related to PIP. So if you want to use different symbol, or maybe you have different symbol and you want to change to PIP, you can just right click at the tab over here and select the standard symbol that you want to use with. So if I click on PID ISO, you can see the symbol is different. Same goes with others. Let me just change back to PIP because I'm going to work with PIP only. Right, now that we have our drawing ready, so the first thing is that I want to start with, I'm going to draw a schematic diagram starting with a tank, or more specifically a vessel. So I'm going to go with the equipment, and I'm going to include and import vessel from here. Right, so on the vessel over here, so I just can click, and I can specify the silo over here. So each symbol has different properties. For vessel properties, when I click over here, it's allow you to specify the scale, but I'm just gonna go with the default. So I'm gonna press enter. So once I have input my vessels, it's gonna give me this tag over here, which allow me to assign the tag for my equipment symbol over here. So we have these types. So that will be the tanks for this vessel. And then we have this number over here. So I can just input the number manually if I want to. You can also click at this icon over here, which will allow you to automatically create the numbering for you. So you cannot have two types of two similar types. For example, I have two tanks and I have two similar number. Right. So inside of Plant 3D, you need to have different number. So we have this auto, which automatically assign it for you. Let me just click assign, and it will assign. It will add my equipment for me over here. Now let's say if I wanted to assign a tag, so again, I can just right click and assign a tag, or I can also go to the PID PIP, assign tag, and select my equipment, press enter, and then the same pop-up will appear. So last time I did not check this one. So I want my symbol to have a tag showing. So I'm gonna check on place and assign, and I can assign my tag over here. Now let's add more equipment. So I'm gonna go with, I wanna add some pumps over here. Again, a numbering, I can just automatically numbering from here. And I'm gonna add another number. Right, so we already have pump 001. Now, if I were to input another number, which is the same number, 001 as well, and I click assign, it does not allow me because I already have pump with 001. So I needed to have a different number, so such as 002. Right, so I can just select the auto. It's going to give me the number that I have not yet have on my drawing over here. Sign, and I have put over here. Now, the reason why we can actually put 001 over here and this one is also 001 is because it's different types. This one is a tank and this one is a pump. Let's add another one. I'm gonna add some exchanger. Say demo type exchanger. I'm gonna put this one over here. Put number, sign, and I'm gonna put right over here. Now let's say if you have your equipment a little bit different symbols, for example, your company have different symbol, we can still go ahead and edit this block, right? So just click, right click and edit P&ID object block. And you can edit this block and it's still functioning as a normal P&ID object. So let's say I'm just gonna add some lines. We just trim this one, and basically this. Let's say this is the object that I want. Let's say make it a little bit shorter. Okay, so once I'm done, I can just click save, and it will save me as this object over here, and it's still functioning as a P&ID object. Now, once I have done that, so the next thing that I might want to add is some nozzles. So if you take a look on some of my symbols, so I have this nozzle over here, but I don't have the nozzle for the tank. So I can input that manually by going to the fitting over here. So if I drop down, I have this nozzle that I can add. Let me just click over here, click the tank, and I can just click over here and specify my nozzle position. So just press enter. So I have my nozzle created over here. Now we already have the nozzle. So next things that I might want to do is creating the lines. Let's say if I want my nozzle to have is tag as well. So I can just go ahead, right click, assign the tag, and I can assign over here. Again, I can just assign from here, also can. This one has been automatically. So we just put over here. Now let's take a look on creating the pipelines that which allow us to connect from equipment to another equipment. Right. So for that, I can go to this tool palette here. Then I go to the lines over here. Over here, I have these primary line segments, which allow me to create a lines which connected from one equipment to another equipment that allow for the fluid transfer process. Now, before I input these lines, I can go into the schematic line over here, and over here I can specify my pipe size. So currently it is set to 6 inch. If I want a different type of size, I can just click over here, and it will select as that type of size over here. So for now, I'm gonna go with 6 inch, and I can also specify my spec. If I drop down, I have several other spec from here. I'm just gonna go with the default 300 CS300s, and now I can just put my pipe. So all I can do is I can just click over here from this nozzle, click, and I'm gonna click right over here. Now you can see once I click the lines, it's creating this line over here, which also include a directional arrow, and this nozzle is also automatically created. So this is because this vessel allow you to create automatic nozzle if I were to connect any lines on this tank over here. Now press enter, so you can see this nozzle has been created. So that is the reason why they don't actually put some nozzle on this equipment. But if I try to put a line connected to this exchanger, so exchanger don't have this property. So different equipment has different properties. So let me just delete that one. And I can just continue to add some more pipeline to connect. Now, if I click these pipelines, I have this arrow which allow me to specify the heights so that I can control which direction that I want to move. Now, let me just add another one from here. Now, for this case, I make some mistake over here. What I should have done, instead of creating from here, I should have created from nothing to here. Now, the reason why, now, since I created from here, my direction arrow is wrong. It should have the direction arrow flow inside of this palm and it will exit at the other nozzle over here. So if you have this direction flow wrong, what you can do is that you can just click, right click, and then you can go into the schematic line edit. And over here, you can reverse the flow and it will reverse the flow direction of this line over here. Right. So if I have this not completed line, so I can just click. I can click this plus button. It has this plus button. I can click and simply continue to add some more. So if I wanted to remove, I cannot directly simply delete the line because it will delete the entire line. What I can do is that you click at this line, click at the plus, and move on to the last point that we have selected, and it will automatically delete the line for you. In this case, I'm going to combine these two lines together. Or I can just also pick the lines connecting from here and connect it directly from here. Now, when you create the line, you can also notice that our pipeline is created vertically and also horizontally straight. So you will not create this line with the angle. So you can easily see and easily manage your, easily create your diagram more quickly. Now, another thing is, when I click this line over here, you can see it is highlighting the entire line. But if I take a look on this line top over here, so I click this one, it's only highlighting this one, but not this one. It is actually a different line over here. So what's the difference is, if I click this one, I can also assign a line number tag for this pipeline. So by right click and schematic, assign a tag. On this pipeline, we have several other things such as the size, we have the spec, we have the pipeline group service. So for this case, I'm gonna go with the general process, which is P. And I can also assign the line number. So same with the other equipment. However, I don't have this automatically auto number. So I needed to enter this number manually. So let me just click assign, and I'm going to assign from here. So you can see I have assigned this line with this tag number. So the size of 6 with the spec of CS300, P and 001. So if I click on this line at the top over here and I select assign a tag, the same properties you can see over here. So if I were to change the line number into 002, I don't need to place the annotation because I already have it at the bottom. Let me just uncheck this one. So you can see at the below also change to 002 as well, because this is actually the same line number. So let me just edit back again. Same tag. I'm gonna set this back as 001, but I can specify different size. So at the top over here, I'm going to specify this as a 8. And I'm going to assign, so you can see at the below over here is still a 6-inch CS300 001. But over here, if I right click, assign a tag, this is actually pipe size of 8-inch. So I can place another tag. So I can specify, right, so this pipeline, even though it has the same number, it has different pipe size over here. But for this case over here, so if I were to assign in the tag, same doesn't go with the P, general process. And line number, I cannot have same line number as the two because I already assigned that. So if I try to assign, it does not allow me. So I'm gonna put 002 instead and assign, and I can assign from here. So if this line, if I try to assign another line number, say P as well, I'm assigning as 002 as well. Try to assign does not allow me, even though this line is connected, but since it's not actually a same group, so it does not allow me to specify differently. So if I want this two line to be the same group, like this two line over here, what I can do is that I can go to line group, and over here we have this main group, and select this two line over here, press enter. Now it is now highlighting this both. So if I try to assign the tag below over here, so let me just click below over here, assign the tag. Now it's allowing me to specify as the same line number, even though I have different pipe sizes from here. Right. If you want to undo that, over here we have this edit groups, which you can select, and you can select the below over here to undo that pipeline. But I'm just gonna do that. So let's take a look some of the things from our pipe. Let's say if I try to click a line from here. Oops. Let's say if I click a line from here and connect it to this line, and then I have another line at the below over here, which will be intersect with the other line, and I'm connecting to this one. So you can see it's automatically creating the gap over here. Right? It's automatically creating the gap from here. So you should be able to notice that this line is not connected, but rather it is actually passing through without being connected together. But however, if I have this line passing through equipment, so you can see when I press enter, does not actually trim this one out, but we still have a ability to trim manually. So you can just click on the line, right click, go to schematic line edit, and over here we can add gap to specify the gap that you want. So the symbol for gap will be appear from here, so indicate that it is not actually going through the going inside of this extrusion, but passing through this inversion. So there are some of the things that you can do for this part now. Right. So let's say if I have this same pipeline, so I can actually do that different size, because it is actually connected but not one straight line. But if I have this line over here, which is straight line over here, straight one line, if I want to reduce that size, for example at the back over here, I'm gonna go with the sign tag, size of, let's say 12. With the number, let's say I'm just gonna select AB, and the pipe number will be 003. You can assign from here with the size of 12. But if I click over here and assign a different size, let's say 6, okay, say 6, a little bit too much, say 8, assign and I put over here, you can see this one actually being changed to 8 as well, right? Because it is actually a one straight pipe, does not specify you, this is actually a different size over here. So if I go ahead and assign text, so it is now changed back to 8. So if you want to have this size to be reduced to lower, what you can do is that you can go to the fitting, and then you have this reducer that you can just put over here, and it will specify the size over here. At the back, it is 8 inch. At the front, it's also 8 inch. So if I click over here and edit the tag, and I can specify this as a pen, assign. So I don't actually need to assign another one because I already have this one. Let me just delete this. But you can see that this one has been 10 inch and the other side is 8, right? So this one is still 10, but if you take a look on the tag, it is actually 8. Right? So let me just add another one, and this one that has not yet been changed, I can just simply delete. And then we have this line, the pipe size of 10, and it will flow to and reduce the size into 8 inch. Right, so that is how you can input some reducer. Right, so what are some of the things that you can do from here? So maybe I want to add some inline asset, right? So some equipment that will be placed on the pipe itself, such as valve. So I can go to the valve. I have several other valve or fittings, so I can specify some of the things that I can put over here. Let me just delete. Let me just put valve, and I'm going to put some check valve over here. And this valve is meant to be put inside of this line. So if I put inside of this line, you can see it is automatically trimmed the line. So the line has been trimmed. And another thing that has been added over here is also automatically showing you the size for this check valve. Right? So it's depend on the size of this line over here. Now, if I just click and drag out, so if you click up or drag out, you can see the line has been turned back to normal. The size for this valve is unknown because it does not actually connect to any part line. So if I move to the other side, so you can see it is now a valve with the 6-inch size over here. Right, so that is basically valve, which is meant for you to put on the inline side. Right, so you can just click. If you accidentally select the wrong direction, you can just flip this component. Or if you want to change different valve, you can just drop down and select different valve from here. Right, so that is basically valve. Right, so let me just do this one. Right, so I can just add valve, and you will be adding some valve. Right, so let's say you already have created and finished your drawing, and then you want to link this drawing to the other drawing. For example, as there's been too much drawing has been created inside over here, and I want to create the second drawing, but I want to have the connection from this drawing to the other drawing. Now, if I take a look, I already have created one over here. Let's say if I want to include, let me just put some equipment, which is tank. Put some tank over here. I cannot put number 1 because we already have the vessel, which is tank as well. So number 2, and then sign. Now, let me just do something. All right. Now, I want to connect this drawing, the schematic diagram, into this schematic diagram by using this line over here. So this line will be flow, and it will be inserted inside of this equipment over here, inside the tank. So I can just click another line, and I can just click over here. Now, to specify that there are a connection between these two drawings from this part line, what you can do is that you can go to the non-engineering, and you can select this off-page connector and just input right over here. Now, this off-page connector will show you the symbols which indicate that there are no two ways that has been connected to this line. But that's because we need to add another off-page connector to the other side, and we need to specify the connection. But before we do that, I'm going to add some tag for this line. Let's say the size will be 4, and the so the spot, let's say I'm gonna go with something a little bit different. Let's say, so I'm gonna go with oxygen, and the line number that will be 004. So I have created over here, and this one also automatically update based on my my pipeline type. Now, to connect, you make sure there are connection between this and this line. So I can go ahead and add another off-page connector and just click right over here. There you can see it is actually connected right in front based on the direction of flow. So if I reverse the direction of flow, that's something I did. Reverse flow, so you can see it is actually reverse at the back. So this can let me just change back the flow, and I want to have the connection from here to this connection. So what I can do is that I can just click, and it should have this plus button, which asks you to connect to which off-page connector. So currently, I have this drawing which is 002. If you have more off-page connector, you should have more lists, but I already have one from here, and then you can select on here, press OK, and it show you that this has been connected between these two. So if I take a look on here, this one is also connected as well. So if I click over here, and I can select view connected, and it will give me the information between these two. Now, the reason why we have this symbol issue over here is because of this different size. So this size actually I corrected with the 4-inch. So this one is actually 6-inch. So I must make sure that this one is actually correct. So I can just edit and just change, or I can also change from here as well. So let me just change. So now it is now changed to 4-inch. Now the other information is telling you which drawing. So I have this current drawing, which is 002, and it's connected to drawing FOL 002. What you can do next, you can also allow you to automatically view. For example, if I have this view to the other location, and I want to see very quick which this line has been connected to. So you can click and open connected drawing, and it will open that drawing and automatically zoom to the line that has been connected over here. So that is how you connect it within these two drawings. Now you have several items that's been created, and then you want to see the list of what item that you have inserted. For there, you can go to the data manager, just click over here, and it will list down all of these equipment such as valve, nozzles, the tanks. It will be listed down over here. Now this is the current drawing data. So for tank, I only have vessel. If I don't want for this drawing data only, I want the entire project. So I can just click the project data, and then I have this dome roof tank, which is actually on this drawing over here. So it is now being included as well. But if let me just now if I click current drawing data, it's only showing you the data for the current drawing only. Right? So I can just click, and when I click over here, it will also allow you to automatically view the location. So let's say if I click over here, click over here, and it will automatically zoom on that location of this setup. So if I don't know which check valve is this or which construction reducers is located, so just click over here and it will zoom it for me. The last thing that you can do from here, you can also export this information into the Excel by going to this export button, and you can select whether you only want this selected item only, or you want all of the information, and then you can specify the location of where you want to export it to. So when I press OK, and it will be exported to. Right. So let me just open again and see what information that I have exported inside of Excel. Right. So this is basically the information that I have. So only concentric reducer, because I have selected. Okay, so I believe I have selected the nodes. Let me just open. Okay, so only one. Right. So there are properties that allow you to actually create all. So let me just click this one again. Let's check back. Right. So engineering item should have the engineering item. Okay, so it takes some time because all of the information is taken and not just one only. Now, if I try to open again, so I believe this is the current one. So if I try to open again, now you have more information. I have flange nozzle, I have a swing nozzle, primary line segment, and some other item that I have now will be linked down at the Excel file as well. So that is basically the thing that I would like to share with you about how to create the P&ID drawing. Now, so I believe that is all from me. So if you have any question, you can just type in on the chat, or you can also unmute yourself. All right, so before we end the session today. So is there any questions so far that you would like to ask regarding the plant 3D? Now, there are also other things that you can do to export the information, such as if you want to create a report. So if you want to create a report, you can also go to this start button and find the software which is called as a report creator, which is for Plant 3D. So if you take a look on Plant 3D folder, you should have this report creator that allow you to export out the information that you have. So you can export out as a project. So for example, I need to find my project first. Let me just open on my project, which is FOI P&ID. Okay, so for some reason it does not actually appear from here, probably because I haven't saved yet. So let me just save this one first. Report creator, and over here I can just select find my so over here I select over here, and I can generate the report. Let's say if I want to generate the line list, and this will be the project that I want. I can preview, and it will generate the report from my information over here. Now, I have some, okay, so we have some few questions over here. Can we go to 3D view, or is it 3D? Now, all right, so inside of the AutoCAD Plant 3D, we actually have two. This P&ID drawing is actually only for 2D only. But if you want to have 3D drawing, 3D symbols, that will be the Plant 3D drawing. So basically, inside of AutoCAD Plant 3D, it's actually two things that you can do, which is P&ID schematic diagram or the Plant 3D drawing. So if you want with the Plant 3D, you can create new drawing from here. Let's say I'm just going to go with 3D. And then you make sure to change your workspace into 3D piping. So currently we're still on 2D. Let me just change into 3D piping. And then there are some other things that you can do from here, such as creating this 3D pipe. So 3D pipe, and we can create some structures. We can import some this 3D equipment. So basically that is for 3D. The currently that we using that we work with right now is a schematic diagram, which is for 2D. So I hope that answers your question. Right, so we have another question. Can we hide the data that we don't want before export to Excel? Right, yes, I believe yeah, you can actually hide that. So if you go to Data Manager, for example, let's say if I go to the lines. So over here, you can actually right click and filter some of the things that you don't want to. For example, let me just enlarge this. Okay. Okay, so let's say over here, I have several other things, several other pipeline over here, and I don't want to see the pipeline with the 002 number. So I can just right click and filter by selections. So this one is filter only showing this line number only. Let me just remove the filter. So if I don't want to see 002, I can select filter exclude section. So the number with the 002 will not be excluded. So if I only want to see 002, 003, 003, so I can just right click and filter that one. Right, so we can just filter from. Right, so we have some questions. So if you want to draw time in Plant 3D, you can export in Revit. So yes, I believe you can export the model from Plant 3D to Revit. However, I believe that is more on Revit. So if you want to have a discussion with us, we can just email us, and we will try to discuss how we can export this Plant 3D into Revit. Right? Right, so if I want to we have some other question. If I want to remove the column comment or tag, so I believe this column over here that you want to remove. So for this case, yes, I believe you can remove this one. That will be on the show selector. So let me just check that. So that will be some of the settings at above, I believe. Not here. Okay. Right, so we have this blank column which does not have information. It will turn off. So if you want to add or create some more, so let me just find. It should have somewhere around here. Please. Okay, so let me just check back again. So previously I have managed to add and remove some of these selections, but for some reason does not show at the bottom here. So, transparency. Right, so this one, okay, I don't actually find it from here, but let me just send you my email. So if anybody have any question, you can just email me. So I will try to find the answer and email you again. Right, so Daniel Cheng, so if you want to ask me, so you can just email me. So then I try to find that like the answer for you, then I will try to email you. So I believe we have no more questions. So thank you everyone for joining our free online lesson. So that is all from me. We already 50 minutes more. So thank you again for joining our free online lesson. Have a nice day and bye-bye.